Hello, it's Hayley from Vision, and I'm once again joined by a very special guest, Kyriakos, who we've brought back from retirement again to chat about Lithuania. So last year I was in Vegas and you were in Brisbane, and today I'm in Brisbane and you're in Adelaide. Welcome back, Kyriakos.
Yeah, thank you for having me back. I've returned again as a special guest. You guys cannot get rid of me, but I'm looking forward to talking about Lithuania with you.
Yes, indeed. So we have a winner in Catharsis. What do you think, and do you feel that Lithuania have made the right decision?
So, interestingly, so I went into this national final blindly. So I've looked after Lithuania national final for Vision like since 2020,
Yeah.
and then like you've taken the reins now since I left. So I thought I'd go into it without knowing anything about the artists, anything about the performances. And initially, when I first saw Katars's performance, I kind of didn't gel with it, to be honest. Personally, I felt like there was a spark missing. I
Yeah.
know they're very popular online on social media, but I have to say during the winners' reprise, I actually didn't mind it. I thought it was really good. There was just something extra about it. The band have this like shtick of like they don't care, not showing any emotions, and I think like I was reading into that too much. But I think that's actually their style.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it was kind of a bit gloomy almost.
Mm.
And I kind of got like a bit of a dystopian vibe to it. But I noticed when they were interviewing them after their first performance, they almost appeared a little bit disinterested. Um,
Yes.
but, but I noticed with the second, like the winners' performance at the end, they were really excited. So it'll be really interesting to see what they do with the song, if anything, um, to to the song when they take it to
Mm.
Eurovision. I personally really like. I mean, I like a lot of different music, both Eurovision. I love Kylie. I love rock. I love metal. And I really like this type of music because I've said it before, it sounds like U2 to me, early U2,
Yeah.
like 80s
Yeah.
U2. It's got the Edge's guitar, it's got Larry's drums, and it sounds exactly like With or Without You with the drum beat.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I like it, but I'm not sure if it's a Eurovision song. But in saying that, if I look at all the songs that we've got so far, we've got a lot of girl bangers. Um, and today has been sort of what three out of the four so far have been male acts. So I think that brings a bit of diversity back into Eurovision, which I think is needed.
Yeah, we are starting to get some variety into the mix for Eurovision 2025. And in a way, yeah, I think you're right. I think adding this to the lineup is probably a good idea on Lithuania's part. I also want to say that this is the fourth time in a row that they'll be sending Lithuanian language to Eurovision. And overall, Lithuania have a 100% qualification record when they've sung in Lithuanian. I'm pretty sure that's correct. So in a way, they're on a on a plus there for themselves if it translates on the Eurovision stage.
That's interesting, and you know what? It's beautiful language. It sings beautifully. So look, I feel as usual with Lithuania, there was a lot of songs to get through with the five heats. And you're sort of thinking, oh, you're not quite sure how it's all going to go. But it's not until all those songs are put together in the final show, you realize it really works. And there's like a fair bit of diversity in the final. And I kind of felt like at the end of the 12 songs, really, any of those songs could have been in the super final. But you and me chatted about what we thought the top three would be. And we both said the same thing. We said Leon Seeker, Catharsis, and Black Biceps.
Yes.
But I was surprised Lipa was in the top three. Although she was my favorite studio track going in, I feel the staging really let that song down. And I think if that song had gone to Eurovision, there was a lot to work with, but I'd worry about how that would have gone with the girl box.
Yeah, I agree. And I think with her performance, I thought there was a little bit too much heavy backing vocals coming through.
No.
Um, I thought it had some nice staging, and I did like the EDM beats to it because it's the first time I've listened to it. But it didn't have as many peaks and troughs I was expecting. It was a bit like mid overall. So I was surprised she made it to the top three, and I think that the crowd did react a little bit when she was announced because a favorite didn't make it.
That's right. That's right. So let's talk about, I guess, the other two. So Leon Seeker, what did you think of that?
Yeah, I really enjoyed that performance. I have to say that, um, unfortunately for me, a lot of the songs kind of dragged. And when he got onto the screen, I was like, oh, wow, this is interesting. This is something that I relate to or connected to, which I was kind of struggling with the other entries.
Right.
What was he? Like he performed 11th overall, so it was quite a long wait to get there. But I did enjoy the mystical. There's like I think even the way his face looked, there was a bit of like a post-apocalyptic or Mad Max feel to it. Yeah, it's very interesting and intriguing.
Yeah, it's I mean you and me were messaging each other sort of during and after. It was art. And I remember watching that in the heats and I was sort of sitting next to the television and I pulled back and saw it and I my eyes just could not leave the television. It
Yeah,
was something quite interesting. I'll never know what the song was about.
yeah,
Um,
same.
but there was, I mean, God, this would have popped at Eurovision big time, I think. Let's talk about Black Biceps. they were they were so much fun, and I think they really stood out. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think overall it was one of the most. It was the most enjoyable performance out of the lot, and it's the one I had the most fun with and really, really enjoyed. It kind of had this Moldovan kind of feel, like what Moldova sends to Eurovision. But their energy was great. The crowd was getting into it. I was shocked they didn't make the top three.
Yeah, I know it's disappointing, wasn't it? But I think they did really, really well to get there. I liked all the color. I liked the energy, and I think that song almost had a bit of a hook that you could have
Yes.
been able to sing to at Eurovision.
Yeah, definitely. And was it that Say My Name and all that? Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
say
little
my
bits in
name.
there. Yeah, yeah, that would have worked so well with a live crowd at Eurovision, but it's not meant to be, I guess.
No, indeed. So, was there anything else that you liked?
I really enjoyed Anaya with Running Out of Time. I thought his performance was quite, there was a bit of energy to it, and I did like some of the vocal stuff he was doing. Maybe the falsettos weren't quite right, but immediately after his performance, I went back and looked at the semi-final, and wow, it was a bit of a glow up. He actually did improve a lot in the overall concept, the staging, and his performance and what he did vocally. So kudos to him. He actually did really well.
I agree. He came off stage really energized, and you could tell he had
Hmm.
sort of thought he had nailed it. And it was a very enjoyable song to watch, that's for sure, because he's got a great voice. And as you said, not too sure about falsettos. I There's two songs I really enjoyed, and Sophie Ali. I just think she was gorgeous. So seriously, a little pixie dress, her voice, her
Yeah.
dress, and those lyrics. After we finish filming this, go and read the lyrics. They're hilarious. And I also loved the song Tired with Yuste. Um, there's something really gentle about that, really authentic about the song. And I've actually added it to my personal playlist, sort of
Oh,
almost like
nice.
a Triple J vibe, sort of just a nice sort of Sunday afternoon song to listen to. So let's talk about the production of the show. So they've moved to a 20,000 person arena. And it kind of wasn't until they started doing some of the staging where they were pulling back the shots, I realized that stage was absolutely enormous. What did you think of the production?
Yeah, the production is top notch. Having watched like Lithuania for nearly the Lithuanian national final for nearly like 5 years now, they've really ramped it up. Unfortunately, maybe some of the songs weren't that good for the stage. Like the stage was really good, and
Mm.
the overall like ambience of it looked really good as well. Um, but no, they've come a long way, and yeah, would love to sing on that stage if I could sing. Like it looks really great.
Yeah, and some of those shots towards the end of the colors, and it looked just absolutely incredible. What did you think about the medley?
Yeah, so we got what? We got some Lithuanian national final rejects. So that's a bit harsh, but it was great to see some familiar faces come back and sing I don't know, was it like a dozen Eurovision
Yeah,
songs, all one after the other? Because initially we thought it was winners, then they sung Snap, and then it went on a tangent. But I really enjoyed it. I just thought the moment we were waiting for the results, and then we got that, and it just wouldn't end. But it was really enjoyable. What do you think, Haley?
indeed. It went for a very long time. I think maybe it went for a little bit too long, sort of like compared to Poland yesterday. Poland was just so with all the everything they were doing was just so, it was like Poland being told you've got 2 hours to make it fit, whereas
Yeah.
these guys, I guess, had a lot more time. Um, yes, it was a long show, but at least at the beginning they got into it pretty quickly,
Yes.
which was
Yeah.
pretty good. So go back to Catharsis. I'm just going to read some of those lyrics to you because you were asking what it, is in English. So I'll read some of it. So it's quite interesting. Empty talks only fuel the fire. Houses are burning. They begin to collapse. From her eyes, the greatest downpour. Foundations of everything have already begun to rot. Just protect her. And then that bit where they sing at the end, Tavo actually means the word your. So the last chorus before that is, don't be afraid. In your dreams, I cry. Only in your dreams, I cry. And it repeats. What do you think
Oh,
that
wow.
means?
So it definitely sounds very bleak in the beginning, but quite, yeah, very interesting. That wasn't, maybe
Mm,
that does go with the vibe that they were giving, because obviously didn't understand what they were saying, but
no.
no, very interesting lyrics.
Yeah, I really can't work out what that's all meant to mean, but I guess we'll all find out soon.
Yes.
Um, so this is going to go to Eurovision. Would you change anything?
Maybe like just a bit more connection with the
Hmm.
audience. Like I just felt like I wanted to connect more. Like, okay, I know they have their fans, and I know it looks like they've got this shtick that they've got this like I don't care about anything kind of feel that I was getting. But I just want a bit more connection. But there's a lot of potential, I think, as a band, and to do something maybe a bit more grander or bigger.
Mm.
Yeah, what do you think?
I don't know either. Because I don't know what you would do. I mean, I think they're going to stand out as they are because if they keep roughly what they've got, it's going to be different to everything.
Yeah, true.
I mean, I would include lots of smoke. I think they're going to be doing lots of dark shots. But you're right, that connection with the camera, maybe. Like I wouldn't bring any dancers on stage or anything like that.
Agree.
So I think maybe leave it similar, if not the same, to what they've got. Um, so yeah, do you think this will qualify?
I think, like, based on the language part, like, I think it has a good chance because, like you said, it's quite different to all the other entries.
Mm,
Um, I guess we won't find out until we find out, like, who exactly is in the semi-final, like, which artists and songs are there. But I do think it has a point of difference.
yeah, I agree with you. If this remains one of the only, I mean, I think rock at Eurovision is becoming a lot more common, and I felt like the year at Voyager, like when we were in Liverpool, there were many rock songs, and then sometimes there's only one or two. So if this remains as one of the only rock songs, it possibly could. And I think Lithuania do pretty good in the televote anyway, so
Yeah,
they've
they
got
do. They do.
yeah, a pretty good track record. So fingers crossed, really. Well, Kyriakos, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for getting up early and watching Lithuania with me. And I'll chat to you next time.
Thank you very much, Haley. It's a pleasure as always.
No worries. See
See
ya.
ya.